Hey everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Special guest today, a guy you know from the forum for a long time. Very frequent contributor, outspoken, never backs down from a question or a comment. Long history in the sport, longer than me, and I'm pretty old. So somebody I've been meaning to interview for a while, and finally we're here today doing it. Please welcome Noel Fuller. Hey Noel, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Very good. You're in the state of Oregon right now, is that correct?
Portland.
Portland. How much snow on the ground over there?
None. Good.
You suck.
A little dusting right before Christmas, and that was about it.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, we got 1.5 feet here the other day.
Oh, that's right. You guys are on the East Coast, aren't you?
Yeah, we're just getting warmed up. We'll get a lot more snow before it's all said and done. So I probably met you many, many years ago, but I've never known much about you. I probably met you in the 90s at the Ms. International, the Olympia, the Ms. Olympia, shows like that when you were with Nikki. But tell me how it all started for you. How did you first get involved in this crazy bodybuilding thing?
I had a roommate, a little skinny guy, took me to the gym and he outbenched me, and I just couldn't believe he could outbench me. So then I started training. I liked it. Then started training people, probably back in the 80s. Just started experimenting with diets and stuff. What seemed common sense to me, everyone was doing some weird shit, ginseng baths, all this weird stuff. A lot of it didn't make sense to me, so I started doing my own thing, looking pretty good, and people training for those.
Okay. There was no such thing as coaches. I mean, the first coach I ever remember hearing about was probably Chris Aceto back in the day. Neil Spruce, maybe out west, but
Who was the guy? Was it Natashak? Well, Vince Gironda trained people.
Right,
Weeders trained people, and there was a couple guys in the East Coast like Steve Mahalik that was training people. But they didn't really have prep coaches per se back then.
So, when did you first start seeing a need for it? When did you start helping people get ready for contests?
I started helping people get ready for contests in the 80s, but no one would pay for it. You know how bodybuilders are. No,
Yes.
I could buy 6 bottles of Deca for what I'd have to pay you. The Deca will be better.
Right.
So that was the attitude back then. Bodybuilders were broke and cheap, and they would do their own thing and took pride in doing their own thing and all that stuff. No matter how bad they would suck on stage. Yeah. Then they try it again. I think in the 90s, people started looking for people who are a little better than that could help people prep for shows, and now it's just a huge industry.
No.
When it become profitable for me? Well, I helped everybody free through the 80s and then mid-90s when everybody else was getting paid for it. That's when I said, it's time to get paid.
Okay. Some of these guys, we've heard from a few of the older competitors who say, we didn't need gurus, we didn't need coaches back then, and they make it sound like everyone had their shit together back in the 70s, 80s, most of the 90s, and they didn't need any help. They weren't making any mistakes. What were some major mistakes that you think a lot of bodybuilders were making and probably still make before coaches came along to assist them?
Last week prep shit, voodoo crap that they try to do in the last week, trying to drop water. Yes, when you're training by yourself, I don't care who you are, you start second guessing yourself, especially when you're on low carbs. Last week, you don't know how you look. You have no fucking clue how you look. When I competed, I had to have somebody. I didn't know how I looked. I thought I looked like shit, and I thought I looked great, and I thought I looked like shit. And when I thought I looked the shittiest is when I actually looked the best. When I got on stage the last time, I thought I was tiny, small, and shitty. My buddy's like, calm down, you're fine. Calm down, you're fine. Then I got on stage and won the show. He was right.
A lot of us, it turns out, make better coaches than athletes. Was there a point for you when you said, I'm never going to be the greatest bodybuilder, but I'm pretty confident I can help people with better genetics really go far in this thing?
I quit. During the 90s, you'd read Muscle and Fitness, and all these people were rich. You'd see Sean Ray with all these cars and houses and stuff, and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make money. So the first time I trained somebody and they turned pro and I saw how little they made, that's when it was done for me. I'm like, this is fucking stupid.
So now you were married to Nikki Fuller, and she almost became Ms. Olympia, I believe. She won some pro shows, right?
She won the Jantana in 92, I think. And then she got as high, I think, as 8th in the Olympia.
Oh, that's all. For some reason, I thought she did better than that. But I mean, she was one of the top. She was in the magazines all the time. She was one of the top female pro bodybuilders of her particular era. Did you take take her from like a raw, untrained person all the way to pro, or where was she at when you met her?
Years old, never touched a weight.
She had never touched a weight.
Wow. Yeah, 2 years later, she was a pro.
Wow. And This is a question I always have for coaches who work with, I think you work mainly more so with women than men, correct?
Yeah, I'd say it's about 70% women.
Is it because they're more compliant, they do what you tell them and they don't complain and they pay? I mean, it seems to me, in my very, very limited experience of coaching, that they're just a lot easier to work with for a coach.
I think they're less argumentative. Guys are always trying to one up, and they want to take pride in their own shit. Like Sean Ray never wants to give credit to anybody else. That's the way kind of guys are. Girls will go, I don't care, I won. Maybe look, here's your credit.
Okay. Well, I took a lot of questions from people on the forum, so I'm going to start getting to them, or else they're going to get angry their questions didn't get addressed. I will start with, I'm not going to ask that. I'm sorry, Guru Hansa. Kinnick, what is the worst error you've ever seen a prep coach make? What was the worst mistake you think you ever made with a client?
Worst mistake, DNP, put some people in the hospital a couple times. And the worst mistake I ever made was a ginger bath.
Ginger bath?
Yeah. It's where you put ginger in the bath. It's supposed to pull sub-Q water. Yeah. I made a pretty good athlete look like absolute shit.
Wow. What was it? Did it backfire? They ended up like holding water?
It didn't. She didn't hold water. She just softened up and flattened out to nothing. And nothing. I didn't know about. This is early on, so I didn't know. About re-electrolyting them and bringing them back full, and I didn't know what to do. Yeah. Got to give her a ginger bath. Got to give her a ginger bath. Okay, I'll do it. I was just starting out. Yeah, no fucking ginger baths or saunas. Saunas are another huge mistake people make. Let the diuretic do its job.
Okay. We just mentioned DNP. Nobody asked about it, but I want to get your opinion because it seems like it's almost standard for a lot of coaches and a lot of athletes want to use it because they think it's this magic ticket to getting ripped. Where do you stand on DNP use? Does it belong in the arsenal of competitors, or should it be avoided?
But you're usually getting this underground. You don't know how it's dosed, and if you fuck up, you're dead. Yeah. So I don't ever, because the people I train are my friends. I've had a lot of my clients for 7-8 years. I see their kids. I see their families. This is bodybuilding. It's supposed to be a hobby. Hardly anybody's going to make a bunch of money at it. I'm not going to kill somebody just to make me look good for a damn trophy because I can do the diet.
Okay. Guru Hansa. I don't know if you want to go here. This is really.
Ask it.
I'll ask it. You can take it or leave it. Guru Hansa says, "Who are 3 coaches doing the most harm to their clients? And examples why they do such a harm." So,
I don't know which coaches are doing what.
Okay.
So I can't go one-on-one with that because I don't see it happening. Don't know if it's the coach or the athlete going over the coach, and unless I saw it firsthand, I'm not going to sit here and speculate. Some people have a track record of putting people, in hospitals, and that's, you can take that or leave it.
He didn't ask this, but the Dallas thing was huge story, obviously from August, and he passed away in August. We're still talking about it. It was a tragic thing, and nobody knows if he was taking what a coach told him to take, if he was doing a lot more than a coach told him to take. I mean, in a situation like that, do you think it's fair to start looking to place blame on, it was Matt, it was Chad, it was this or that person, when we really don't know?
If you know that they absolutely did it, if you were there and saw it, yeah, you can place blame. But, when a kid dies that young, you got to start thinking somebody fucked up. And it probably needs to be looked into a little bit.
Okay. Second question from that same person, Guru Hansa. Who would be one well-known coach you would recommend for prep and why? So maybe you're booked up and you can't take on any more clients. Who would you refer somebody to? Chris Aceto. Okay. For what reason? You think he's just got a more common sense approach?
He's never put anybody in the hospital that I know of. He does have a common sense approach. We're kind of likewise with the macros. You can't knock Hanny, you can't knock Chad. There are a lot of good coaches out there.
Okay. Bully God asks, how many years / clients did it take for you to realize you could do this full time and be successful, since most diets and preps are not one size fits all? So
it's about the late 90s when people started coming to me. Before then, people didn't pay for it. You just help a friend out, your gym buddies. Yeah. And then in the 90s, when I saw other people getting paid, that's when I decided I was going to get paid.
Now, this is do you ever have I'm sure you have had situations, where you've done a whole prep for somebody and they owe you X amount of money, and if they don't win the show, they feel like they don't have to pay you or they shouldn't pay you?
No, I've never had that happen. I get people. I mean, I'm brutally honest with them. If I don't think they look good enough to get a top 5, I'll tell them we're going to wait for the next show.
Okay.
I've had people that I've never had that have paid me and have never competed because
Wow.
I mean, we're going to do the next show. I don't want to. Okay, don't.
Right.
But for a prep, I owe you a prep. Prep's still on the table. Do you want to do it or not?
And because we have so much more interest in competing now, there's so many divisions for them to choose from. Pretty much anybody that goes to the gym could compete in something.
Yes.
Do you find that, do you get approached by a lot of people, I don't want to say delusional, but they have a very unrealistic idea of what they look like?
I want to turn pro in a year. I get that a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Not going to happen.
And you tell them, yeah.
No, absolutely. I'm like, it's embarrassing to tell somebody they're going to turn pro in a year. Why would you do that? You're taking somebody's money and you shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
This is the way it's going to work. We're going to win one show first. How about we do that, and then let's see what happens. Then we maybe win it overall. Why don't we wait?
Yeah. Do you find that people are just in general way more impatient now with everything? They want to turn pro faster. They want to put on 30 pounds like in a week. No?
Turning pro, people make this misconception that it's the end-all be-all. Competing as an amateur is a lot of fun, especially when you're really good. As soon as you turn pro, it's a damn job. And you're not competing against locals where you can walk into a show, smoke it, and have everybody come up and congratulate you and get clients. You go to a pro show, you get your ass handed to you. It's an ass handing because these people are damn good. I don't know why everybody wants to turn pro.
I think it's so you can change your name on Instagram and Facebook to IFBB Pro Joe Blow or Jane Doe.
And just do it anyway.
Did I just see somebody walk by in a t-shirt and shorts outside over there? I believe I did. Is it that damn warm?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like 50 here.
It's going to be like 10 below tonight over here. I got to throw this in, even though it's completely random, but because I hear you're a bit of a Star Trek fan, my man the Goon asks, if the original Captain James T. Kirk, William Shatner, fought new-time Captain Kirk, Chris Pine, who would win and get to bang the green chick?
Shatner.
Shatner, okay. I don't know. I was never impressed by his fighting skills on that show, but it was
Dude, the double-handed fist.
What did he do?
Double-handed fist.
Okay, but that's right. That was his go-to move. Nelson Muntz, how do you feel about the thought that gurus are overrated? So yeah, people do trash gurus all the time and say, oh, everybody should just figure out their own body and this and that, and you shouldn't have coaches.
How much does it cost to do a show?
For me, it would be about 10 grand. I don't know what the,
So you
probably a little less than that.
Want to really risk a couple placings when you're spending that much money?
I wouldn't, no.
Somebody knows what the fuck they're doing. Somebody who has a track record and go in there and win the show and not have to think about it. Like I said, people can't think the last couple of weeks before a show. Right. It's just really hard to focus in because you're desperate, you're delusional, you've worked really hard on something for 20 weeks, and you really want to win, so you do stupid shit.
How do you deal with I just don't. I'm not a patient person, so when you must be getting, especially in the height of contest season, when you've got a good amount of clients going, how do you deal with all these insane, neurotic, paranoid texts that must come flying at you all hours of the day and night from people?
I make them text me, so I don't have to. I have them text me.
Okay.
And then that way they're not a million questions.
Yeah. Okay. Nelson also wanted to know who was or are your mentors. Did you have any mentors early on?
No, there was nobody really to go to. The pros I trained with, we would bounce ideas back and forth. I was shocked at how little pros knew about steroids. They were just so good genetically that they were doing stupid shit. And I'm like, let me try this. And then,
Yeah.
But that's where I learned most of my stuff is other pros.
Okay. Let's see. We're still on Nelson. Nelson gave us a big slew of questions. Noel has the image about him online of being quite direct and sarcastic. What is it outside the realm of his assumed personality would people be shocked to learn about? Something not your online, like maybe you adopt effing orphan kittens or something. So you are actually a different person, a little more generous and charitable and kind in real life than we think you are, aren't you?
We do the backpack buddy program. My daughter went to school one day and she came home. She goes, "Can you pack me a lunch?" And I go, "But honey, you have hot lunch." And she goes, "I know, but some of my friends don't eat, so I share my lunch with them." And I'm like, "What the hell?" So we went to the school, found out that some of these kids weren't eating, but they were too embarrassed to tell anybody, that I don't have any food. Our parents are broke. So the Backpack Buddy program, what we do is collect food every weekend. When we do posing, we have people go to Dollar Tree, get a bunch of food. They take that up there. They will put it in a backpack on a table at the school, and the kids on Friday can walk up there and grab it. And then, not a question asked. And then they bring the backpack back on Monday, and they fill it back up again. So they aren't embarrassed. The kids aren't embarrassed, and they get to eat for the weekend. Not only that, pack enough food if they have brothers or sisters. So everybody can eat on the weekend. We just donated. We had a coat drive. I think we got 100 coats for kids because it was supposed to be really cold here in Oregon. We don't really need it now, but so that's the type of stuff we do. I'm a dick online. I mean, I'll admit it, because most of these people, that's just the way I grew up. All my friends, we fuck with each other. We talk to each other. I mean, some of the shit that people say about me on this thing is funny as hell. I'm laughing about it. I don't get angry about this stuff. But in person, I'm not like that at all.
Okay. I would say the Backpack Buddy is a lot more significant than adopting kittens, These are human beings. How many kids do you have, and what are their ages, can I ask?
3. I have a 20-year-old, a 15-year-old, and a 8-year-old.
Okay. And because I see pictures of you kissing a baby, I don't know how clear that's not a new picture. So that's got to be about 7 or 8 years old now.
Yep.
If you and some of your nemesis, I don't know if there's even a plural for nemesis, met in real life, do you think you would both act like children, or do you end up having a beer or coffee together?
I would act like a child, because when I don't like somebody, I'm not going to, "Oh, dude, bro, it's all cool." I hate that bullshit. You talk shit, to somebody on the computer, fucking talk shit in person. Did Sean Ray ran into each other? No, we're not going to be buddies. Trust me.
So I got that. There was like a million questions about that. So how did you and Sean end up sort of disliking each other? I don't even know how that began. Do you know how it began?
Because he treated people like shit on the forum. He would just downplay him, and no one stood up to him because he's Sean Ray. I didn't like it, so I'd call him out on his bullshit every time. The more I got to see him on here, the more petty and insecure I found out he was, which is a shame, because he's one of the best. He was my favorite bodybuilder when I was coming up. I mean, he was, oh my God. And I thought he was amazing. He looked better than Dorian until I saw them standing together in person. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. Dorian makes me look like a kid. And then you see it, and then you see a couple flaws in Sean, but I still liked him as a bodybuilder. I didn't realize he was that petty. I mean, I just can't stand the guy. He's done almost everything in the bodybuilding world. He shouldn't be that insecure.
Yeah.
That many wins and stuff. And he treats people like shit. Fuck that guy.
Now, that being said, if there was a 212 division back then, do you think he would have dominated it?
Oh, yeah. He almost won the Olympia a bunch of times. He should never have won the Olympia, in my opinion, because if he had come in, I think, in 99 against Haney, I think he would have won a couple. But every time
89. Yeah.
No, 99. That's when he was shredded. There's a picture of him and Flex Wheeler. Their Christmas trees are just fucking there. He was bald at the point. He was
that's right.
Best year.
Because you said Haney, so that's why I thought you were 10 years
old.
old.
If he had competed against Haney in that kind of condition, he would have won an Olympia. But every time he's been on stage, he was either off a little bit, or the other guy was just that much better.
Yeah. Okay, well, this is sort of related. What are things you admire the most about any of your nemesis out there, aside from physiques? Oh, so it's aside from physiques. And what are things that annoy you about your allies? I don't know, these are getting really complicated, these questions.
Yeah. Sean seems to be like a family man, I guess. And Porter can get some people in shape.
Okay. How did that rivalry or feud, how did that start? Were you both living in the same, is he from that area?
Yeah, I was training Moose El Bacucci for the Emerald Cup, which he won the overall. I think in 2012. And he and Matt were training partners. And Matt's wife, Rachel, kept bugging Moose, going, "Why don't you have, Matt do your diet?" And Moose goes, "No, I train Matt. You don't understand the relationship. I'm in the gym pushing Matt. Me and Matt are friends, but Noel got me in the best shape. I'm going to stay with him." So after that, Moose was going for the World Championship in Morocco. And we had a hell of a year. He was thick. His body wasn't taking into steroids. They were actually wasn't assimilating. You had to go to a blood doctor, all this shit. And he was in here one day and he was sad. I mean, he was just about crying. He knew he didn't look as good as he could. Things weren't working. He was still going. And I said, Moose, you're fine. Let me take a picture of you. So I took a picture of him, put him up on the MD boards, and I go, watch. These people hate me. They'll say good things about the picture because you're good. And so people started saying good things. And then Porter pops up and goes, yeah, you really helped him a lot this year, didn't you? And then so I started fucking with him a little bit. And then I said something to him on Facebook, and he pops back with, Moose doesn't do your training. He doesn't do your diet. He thinks you're horrible, all this shit. Said a bunch of shit. So I'm like, fuck you, dude. And Moose is in Morocco, so I'm not going to call Moose and bug him because he's in contest, prep and all this stuff. I didn't think Moose would say it, but I wanted to clarify it. So when Moose got back, landed, went to his house. Are you sitting down? And I sent him the text Porter sent me. Moose was here in 20 minutes. Porter saying, you can get over here and explain to him why you said it. Well, Porter goes, I'm not coming over there. Noel's pure illegal. And he's probably right that day. I am pure illegal. But ever since then, he's plays this passive aggressive bullshit that I don't do. Like in person, he will run away from me. He will walk away. He will walk a different direction. But on the boards, he'll write people saying I'm horrible, all this shit. He's a sneaky little bitch.
Okay. I'm going to have to ask you to stop rotating because it seems like it's affecting your audio. You're getting all fidgety on me. Are you following this fight between him and Factory going on right now?
Yeah, I don't know why he called out Factory. I don't think that was a good idea because Porter's not confrontational. I mean, I saw part of the video, but it was hard to watch. He said, obviously, I was going to do that for you, obviously. Obviously wrong. Yeah. Honestly.
Honestly.
I hear somebody say honestly, the less I believe in the honesty. But
that's an in-law of mine that I got that from, that was always saying honestly, and he wasn't very honest. Anyway.
Why would you call somebody out for advertising?
Yeah.
I mean, Factory's good. He's got a bunch of coaches. What was the point? What was his end strategy on that one? He looked like an idiot.
Okay. Well, that explains that. Thank you.
Yep.
Is this still from Nelson? My goodness, Nelson. How many questions did you have? What is your favorite client experience from a non-competitor? Who's someone that you really had a great experience, satisfied with the results you were able to get for somebody?
Yeah, me this morning.
Oh, okay. Well, she's a competitor. She's a pro, right?
Yep. Non-competitor.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of clients that are just normal people walking off the streets, and making them look better is always satisfying. When you take somebody who doesn't like the way they look and you give them a good look and they get confidence and they're happy and it changes their life, it's always a good feeling.
Do you prefer working with competitors because they tend to be a little more disciplined? Because it's got to be challenging working with the regular people because they will do things like cheat on their diet and miss workouts, and it's not such a big deal to them because they're not psychotic OCD like all of us bodybuilders.
It's different. I love doing shows. It's kind of a hobby to see how far you can push people and see how good you are as a prep coach. So there's that. It's just totally different when you've got just a normal person that is now your friend and comes in all the time. It's just totally different. You really correlate those.
Last question from Nelson. He had a lot of questions. Being you're in the Pacific Northwest, when will we see a mutant on a mission with you and your gym? That's a series on YouTube or something? I don't even know what that is.
Is that Gabe Mone's thing? The mutant thing?
It must be.
Yeah, I like Gabe. He's a good guy. He's different. He probably won't be down in my gym.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about the gym. I know you have a gym. How long has it been there? What's it called?
Foster Fitness. I opened it up in 1987 up the street.
Wow.
Moved it in 90. Went down and did Golds for a couple of years, and then came back and got my gym back.
Okay.
Wow, I'm old.
So it's called Foster Fitness?
Yeah, Foster Fitness.
In what city?
Portland.
Portland, Oregon. Okay. Do you watch Portlandia? I should ask.
Yeah, a couple of times. It's pretty fucking close.
Okay.
Yeah, the people here are that weird.
Okay. Well, they had to be based on something.
No, it's close.
Endeavor Zen. First of all, he says, will Yami make an appearance during the interview? If not, why not? Well, we didn't ask her, unfortunately.
Because she didn't want to take the time to put the makeup on.
Okay, how's the new business doing? So this would be, marijuana is legal in your state now, right?
Weed business is doing good.
Okay. Is there a position for BMC as your 21C or quality control assistant?
He should be my salesperson.
Okay. He's in Florida, but he might be willing to relocate in the right situation. Michael Edwards, we're going to throw away about half your questions, Michael. I'm sorry. Best guru and worst guru out there. Who's the best and worst? Do you want to answer that one or not?
Well, we're never going to find the worst because they aren't doing very well. Probably the best. Well, you got to go with Nichols or Haney. They have the most success.
Who's the first one?
Nichols, Chad Nichols.
Oh, Chad Nichols, Chad and Hani. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Hani's got all his Olympias. Chad had a bunch of Olympias. Who is another pro or past pro he hates beside Ray?
Nobody.
Okay.
There's very few people. I don't hate Ray.
Yeah.
I'm pathetic, and I'm going to give him shit. I mean, if Ray changed his ways, I'd be fine with Ray.
Yeah. Hate's a very strong word, guys. Be careful with that word, please. Who is a current pro who is an asshole in real life? I suppose you get
nobody's an asshole to me. I mean, they either, want my prep help or don't want to cut me off for prep help in the future if they need it. So pros are really actually pretty good to me.
Last question's harmless enough. Your favorite pizza? Pizza Hut, Domino's, or Papa John's?
God. Well, none of those are my favorite. But Domino's is doing pretty good lately.
Okay. What is your favorite? Is there a spot over in Portland?
Yeah. What the hell's the name of it? I know where it's at. I don't know the damn name of it. It's some Italian name.
It's hard to fuck up pizza. Pizza's great.
Pizza's like sex. When it's good, it's really good. And when it's bad, it's still pretty good.
Exactly. That's what they say. Don Flex, do you still train at all?
No, fucker.
Okay.
Go fuck yourself.
Will you ever get back into semi-ripped shape? Or are you content being fat and happy?
I don't know. If I can get a little free time, I would like to die down again. I miss my abs.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
When was the last time you competed, if I can ask?
I was 94, and then in 97, I was getting ready for the Oregon and tore my quad off. So I only got like one leg. Kind of hard to compete with one leg.
What were you doing when you tore that?
I was moving furniture, and my leg got caught behind me, automatically, involuntarily flexed, and pulled right off the bone.
Never help anybody move. That's the lesson that you should have learned from that.
Well, now I can't. I got one leg. I got an excuse.
I'd like to use an excuse. I hate helping people move. Last question is actually harmless enough from Don Flex. Any plans for your own show? The Noel Fuller Classic has a nice ring to it.
Okay, my personality doesn't lend itself well to a big following. I'm really outspoken. I'm outspoken with judges. I'm outspoken with a lot of things. So shows are a real tough thing to do, and they're really work intensive. And I've done them before. I didn't like doing it.
It seems like they'd be a lot more profitable now because there's so many of these new divisions.
They are, but here in Oregon, we have shows that do 300 competitors, 200 competitors, and then we have one show that has 70 competitors.
Wow. Okay.
It's hit or miss. And if you have a 70 competitor year, it's a bad fucking year.
What's the population of your state roughly? Any idea? I'm just curious.
We got over 1 million in Portland. I'm not quite sure. We're not one of the bigger states, but we're not like Idaho. We're much bigger than Idaho.
Okay. I know California is like the fourth largest economy in the world or something.
California's huge.
Something ridiculous like that. Okay, that was it from Don Flex. Thank goodness. Thanks, Don Flex. Okay, next one you already answered. Why do you dislike Porter? Okay, Cam38888. For people doing a move up a weight class type off season, so for someone trying to move up a weight class this off season, and then he puts in parenthesis, high test GH Slin, do you recommend using T3? I've heard it around 50 to 100 micrograms. There'll be much more gains than not using it. That is news to me. I did not know T3.
T3 would not be something I would suggest for gains.
Where did that even come from?
I don't know. I think some people like to use it with GH, but I don't. The less is more for me. I don't throw a bunch of shit in with people. I wouldn't use T3. Screw up your metabolism.
Yeah.
If you absolutely needed it for a show, and you're dieting down and nothing was coming off, then you can go with T3. I've used it some very sparingly, but it's not one of my favorites.
How many people have legitimately slow enough metabolisms where, dieting and clen and some ephedra and yohimbine is not going to do the job? How many people really need legitimately T3?
I've seen it, but it's very few, like 1 out of 100.
Since you're an honest, outspoken guy, I'm going to use the opportunity. GH, how vital do you think GH is in the arsenal of a competitor today? Is it necessary? Absolutely.
At what level?
Let's say national level and beyond. So pros, I'm going to just assume yes, it's necessary. And if you're at the national level, I guess you're trying to be a pro, right?
It depends on how tall you are. I think tall guys have it the roughest. You know, they're going to be harder to fill out, and I would suggest GH if you were tall and trying to win a national show.
Is the main what's the main benefit? Is it keeping the fullness as you get very, very lean?
It keeps the muscle. It gives the muscle a nice round look, and it does keep it full. You can diet harder on GH and maintain more muscle mass. A lot of the European women, how they get so shredded, tons of GH, zero carbs, tons of cardio. That's their trick over there.
Yes. Now we're talking about international. You know, Kuwait is it's like the holy grail now. Everybody wants. I got to go to Kuwait. I wish I could go to Kuwait. Oxygen gym. Do you think they really have any special knowledge or secret substances over there that we have no access to here in the United States of America?
I think they're just willing to spend more money on it.
Yeah. I mean, they're well funded, very well funded.
You can't keep a secret in the sport because everybody talks out their ass. Right. So if there was something secret, we'd know about it pretty quick. Remember how fast it took to learn about insulin?
Milos pioneered it, and I think within like about 3 weeks, everybody was trying to get their hands on some.
Milos working with, what was his name? Nasser.
Yeah.
When Nasser blew up, and then right after Nasser blew up, Coleman blew up. I saw Nasser. Nasser was just starting to do it. I was training Occam. Nasser won the show. Vince Taylor took second. Occam took third. And then Ronnie took fourth. And right after that, Ronnie fucking blew up.
So, what do you believe that it's GH and insulin were the two things that really changed the game as far as getting this bigger, freakier, rounder look?
It's exactly what it was. Because as soon as those guys started taking GH, everybody blew up.
Yeah.
Right. GH and insulin.
Insulin does have the capability of really harming you if you're stupid and don't know what the hell you're doing. So, what are the biggest mistakes you see a lot of bodybuilders hear about people doing that are
too much insulin?
Too much.
I don't like using insulin because it scares the shit out of me. But not eating enough when you're on insulin. You see people passing out in the gym from it. Not in my gym because we don't have a lot of guys in here, but I've seen them.
But I mean, how like as I asked you with GH, I mean, how vital a role do you think it plays for people now as far as putting size on? Because it wasn't really, like you said, it wasn't a big thing. It wasn't commonly used until Milos and Nasser really got the word out there, and that was like mid-90s, I believe. I think
for some people it works better than others. Like Coleman didn't have that full look until he did it. Dorian got that look without using a bunch of insulin.
Yeah, but Dorian never had that real round fullness either. And I don't know if the insulin would have done that, or if that's more of a genetic thing.
I saw Nasser go up against Dorian, and Nasser had a rounder, fuller look, but Yates was just better. He was harder, more grainy look. Back then, people had a more grainy, hard look, and for me, that's better than being, round. I love that look. I love that look. He looked like driftwood on stage.
Yeah, and we don't see that a lot. Do you think it's because of insulin, or do you think people just don't want to diet hard?
It's because of the insulin. Do you remember Marcus Haley? How big his belly was?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Remember when he competed with me? How small his belly got?
Yeah, it was a lot smaller. Absolutely.
That's because we came off insulin, and what a lot of these guys do is they diet down so they can see their abs. Their abs look great, but they don't diet the visceral fat off that's underneath that they've gained from the insulin. So once you get the visceral fat off, your belly will come back down. But these guys need to diet down harder. Okay, I can see your abs, I can see your glute cuts, but that visceral fat is still in the belly. You still got to diet down.
So I'm kind of a dope. I don't really understand how you get rid of visceral fat. I mean, if it's in there, you can't see it. I mean, how do you know when it's gone? I mean, if everything on the exterior looks like you've gotten every last ounce of fat off, how do you know there's still fat in there?
Usually stop dieting, but if you have that visceral fat, your belly would be big and round and fat. I mean, you look like you're pregnant. You've seen these guys. They need to keep dieting. They need to get rid of the visceral fat.
Because, I mean, how do you know that's not organ growth, especially when there's GH and insulin used for years? You don't think the organs also can grow and give you this big old... I think
you can, but not like that.
Okay.
Some people take insulin and GH, and they don't get the belly.
Right.
A lot of that's genetic. But if you've got it, I would diet it off. Yeah. It looks like shit. Guys in their side chest, their belly sticking out, or doing a back double bi where you can see the beach ball. Yeah. It's a shit look.
Because I do believe from personal experience, organ growth can happen just from regular gear. Because I seem to have, unfortunately, accomplished that feat myself over the years. Yeah. I used to have a little dainty, tiny, classic physique midsection, and now not so much. So you
Yep.
don't have to use insulin and GH to get a gut. So Harold Rutman, he asked about Sean and Matt, which you've already addressed.
Okay.
Why did Yami finish last at her first pro show? I don't even know if that's accurate. Was there politics involved?
No, there was no politics. She didn't finish last. She was tiny. I'd never seen her up against figure girls, and she was 10 pounds too light.
Yeah.
She put 5 pounds.
She's
Yeah,
pro
she
figure.
At Nationals 2015, and then she put on about 5 pounds, and she looked great to me. Good legs, good shoulders. Back could have been a little wider, but she was just small.
I mean, it doesn't seem like there's a huge difference now between figure and women's physique. The gap seems to be closing.
No, the girls she went up against were huge. I mean, they were huge, and I thought that was going to play in my favor because I thought they didn't want big, huge figure girls. And Yami's pretty, got up there, was harder than. There was maybe 2 girls harder than her on stage, but I thought she looked great. And then nope, they all went with size, both shows. That's why we went from we went Sacramento, or no, we were San Diego, did that show, and she goes, let's try somewhere else, see if the judging is any different. And nope, they went with the big girls both times.
So where does she stand? Is she going to get bigger, or is she just not going to compete?
Nope, she's not gonna. She doesn't want to get that big. These Cuban, they have a different attitude. When she was fat, she goes, I was fat, but I was cute. Now she goes, I just want to be small and cute.
Have you been to Cuba, Noel?
No, not yet. We're going though.
Yeah, well, you gotta head over there before it's way too late, before Trump destroys everything. But
Trump's not going to be there that long.
no, well, he'll get reelected. Trust me.
There's no way.
Computer hackers from Russia will make sure it happens. Don't worry. Whether he actually gets elected or not, he'll get elected.
He will go crazy before the 4 years is up. He can't handle this shit.
Now I'm into politics. I'm pissing people off. Sorry. George UK. Great question. What do you like most about bodybuilding?
I liked it just because I like training. I like competing. I like the whole process. I just like bodybuilding.
You've been in it a long time. Do you still have that passion? You still have the love for it that you did, 30 years ago or more when you got into all this?
No, not even close. When I was competing, I mean, I love bodybuilding. Go to the gym, spend all the time there, hang out with bodybuilders. No, I like it as a hobby now, but it's as I got older, different priorities came up in life. A lot of priorities. Having kids, that was a big one.
I think I hear some kids now, but you're like me. You were around when it was magazines were the only access we had to the contest reports, the athletes, all that. Do you sort of miss those days? Do you think internet, social media almost ruined it in a way?
No, it's much better. We used to have to call goals to find out who won the Olympia. I hated those days. Magazine, print is dead, my friend.
Boy, oh boy, it's a rough statement. So who are some of the athletes that you've worked with that were the best, the most fun to work with, the most satisfying? They did what you told them, and they made the most improvements, and you're going to have the fondest memories of. Who stands out to you?
Probably amateur bikini girls that come in fat and then get skinny, get on stage, and their whole lives change.
Okay.
That's probably the most satisfying.
I think I'll end with, what do you think, because you do have a great track record. I've seen you do some great things with clients. What do you think are the most common errors people make in prep?
Not eating enough, doing too much cardio, relying on other things other than the diet to get shredded, and you're really breaking up. And last week's shit. I mean, just water loading, salt loading, shit like that, shit loading. I mean, you have to have a really good eye to know what to do the last week of a show.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. I mean, I've seen some people. I think that's the one thing that social media has actually helped us recognize is we see so many of these people a few days out or a week out or 2 weeks out from a show looking spectacular. Yep. And then I get to the show, the Nationals USA or whatever, like, oh boy, isn't that the guy that looked like a freak like a week ago?
Isn't that funny? It's like, I think I know your brother. He's really good.
I was like, wow, you looked awesome a week ago. You look like dog shit today, bro. What did you do? Yeah, it makes for interesting interviews.
Overthinking the diuretic usually.
Yeah. Okay. So if people want to contact you to work with you, how can they reach you, Noel?
Facebook. This is the best man. Noel Fuller on Facebook.
All right, Noel Fuller, athlete. Okay. Anything we didn't talk about that you wanted to talk about?
No, I think we covered everything.
Okay, man. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, I was not always the nicest to you on the board. I apologize for that. I was sticking up for Sean half the time or agreeing with Sean. And I have no issues with Sean. I don't want to make it seem like I do, but
No, you got to do your job. It was shit. It was words on a screen. Doesn't bother me.
Right on. Okay, I'm glad you feel that way. So, belated Happy New Year to you, Noel. Best of luck with everything, business, the gym, the clients, everything. Appreciate you taking the time. And everybody out there, now you know what Noel's really like.
I'm a media whore. I love this.
All right. For the Ronline Report, this has been Ron with Noel Fuller.
Take it easy, guys.